How are you? All good? So, welcome to the first class of your Intune training. Okay. Uh, so, this course is going to be for about close to 5 weeks. Okay. And a daily 1 hour class. You will be learning the production based scenarios. Okay. What all would happen, what questions your client will ask, what you have to do when they ask you something, what materials you need to provide to your client, and also you will be learning about Intune concepts parallelly. Okay, you'll be learning Intune concepts and their back-end workflows for each of these activities. And we will be whatever projects you get in Intune, especially for the Windows 10, after this class, you will be able to handle all those projects. Okay, so there should not be an issue. All the prerequisites, whatever knowledge is required for that, you will get it from this particular training. After this training, you will be one of the top tiers Intune engineers who are in the market. Okay, so not many people will have this holistic knowledge that will be provided for you in this training. You will be the one of the top tier Intune engineers in the market. So that is a kind of a confidence level that you will carry after this particular training is over. Trust me, Intune is very, very, very easy. At the same time, if you know the workflows, you will be a expert. Okay, so I will make it easy for you. Okay, now next. So what is this Intune? Okay, so very simple. Okay, I'll put in the layman terms. Intune is an cloud-based end user management solution. Okay, or you could say endpoint management solution. Okay, so what Intune can do? What can Intune do? Okay, so all of you guys are from ACCM background, right? So I'm going to talk about differences later, but I'll tell you what Intune can do. It can deploy applications. It can configure how and patches handled by your Windows 10. Now, if you observe, I'm not telling it can deploy patches. You observe that I'm not telling it can deploy patches. I'm telling how and patches handled by your Windows 10. Okay, look at this words. I'm not telling it will deploy. Okay, I will be just telling my end user machine how to handle the patches. Okay, next, it can configure image management. Okay, observe here, I'm also not telling we can deploy images. Okay, we can configure image management by the autopilot method. Okay, I'm not telling only it can deploy apps. It can how it can configure patches. It can configure image management, but it will not actually deploy it. Okay, what we are deploying is not the actual image. We are deploying certain profiles for image management, and I'm going to talk in detail about it. Next, it can deploy PowerShell scripts. It can deploy Intune policies. Okay, so this is equivalent of it in on-premises, on-premise GPO. In on-prem AD is GPO. So whatever we call it as GPO in our in Intune or in the cloud Azure Active Directory, we call it as Intune policies. Okay, so these are the major tasks. There are so many other simple tasks, but these are the major tasks that you can easily connect with. Okay, one is application deployment, as patch management, other one is the image management, and obviously infrastructure you need not manage because SCCM you need have a big infra, but for Intune infra is managed by your Microsoft. Okay, all that you will have to do, okay, you will have to log in into Intune by just using an URL. What is a URL? endpoint.microsoft.com. It is just endpoint.microsoft.com. So I have an existing class that is happening, okay, which I will use to explain about the Intune console, and your course code is Intune course 09. This is 07 where I'm going to just explain you because I already have some devices here, okay, for so that we can use these devices to understand the Intune console. So let's go and see, okay, what is Intune console made up of. Okay, we can see what is Intune console made up of. Okay, let me come. How would I go to Intune console? Okay, let me close this. I'll have to just go to endpoint.microsoft.com. If I go to my endpoint.microsoft.com, okay, my Intune console will open up. Sometimes you'll have to log in. I'll show you that later. Okay, now let's talk about your Intune console. So let's have a walkthrough about your Intune console. Okay, now as soon as you open your Intune console, you are in the home page. In the home page, what do you see? Okay, you see the status, overall status of your Intune health. So what is the is your account active? Okay, is there any application failures? Is your Intune connector working very well? Is your all the devices are compliant? Is all your Intune policies deployed properly? Intune policy is nothing but the device configuration here. Is your Intune service healthy or not? So all of it can be seen in a single console like how you have here. Okay, now this is more of a overview in the home, but most of us, as soon as we come into Intune console, we try to go to dashboard. So you can build your own dashboard here as well, but if you see, you have so many objects that is available here, like your device enrollment, device compliance, device configuration. So device enrollment, the equivalent of device enrollment in your SCCM is discovery methods. The equivalent of this in your SCCM is discovery methods. Okay, what will happen here is it's the method of bringing the device from your Azure Active Directory to your Intune. We call it as device enrollment, or adding your end user device to Intune. That one we call it as device enrollment. What is this device compliance? Every company will have their own restriction, will have their own rules, right? They will deploy a set of rules onto your end user machines to which that particular device has to comply, or that rules has to be satisfied. So what kind of rules? A specific registry key should be in this, should have only a specific value. Specific version of software should be present. Okay, specific version of OS only can connect. Okay, so all of it are certain rules that we can deploy, and those rules we call it as device compliance. What is this device configuration? Say you want to change, you have a certain set of wallpaper or configuration that has to be set on the end user machine. You can do that using your device configuration. These are all very in-depth topics on its own, and I'm going to explain to you when we go for those topics in the duration of the class. Next, we have something called as client apps. Client apps is what all the applications like your MS Office, your VLC media player, like your 7-zip. So these are the apps that we deploy. Okay, are they okay? Is there any installation failures? What are these app protection policies? App protection policy is, now say you're logging in using your personal computer and you're trying to access a company resource. You'll open up a company app. From your company app, you're trying to copy to your personal computer notepad, which is not possible. You can restrict the access from your company application to your personal application within the same computer. And also, if you come and see, you have Intune enrolled devices. What are these Intune enrolled devices? It is giving you a list, or it will giving you the segregation based on the operating system. And we will be working mostly on our Windows operating system. This is a huge on its own, and there is a huge demand for managing Windows using your Intune. Okay. Next, device compliance status is how many devices are compliant, how many are not compliant. You can see those status. Device configuration profile status is how many profiles you have deployed. Is there success or is there failure? You can see this in this particular class. I have deployed two, profile status for two users and for two devices. It is already success. Now let's go ahead and create our own dashboard here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create new dashboard, blank dashboard. I'm going to name it as Intune course 09 dashboard. Okay. Now I can bring in the data that I want. Okay. Here you have so many tiles. Okay. Based on the tiles you can see here. Not this, sorry. Let me come to device compliance. The way you want, you can set it. Client apps, device configuration profile status, device compliance status. Then you can come down. You can check your device enrollment status. You can check your Intune enrolled devices. Like this, you can create your own dashboard based on the requirement. Now I'll go click on the preview. See, it looked like this. And if I click on save, okay, if I come to my dashboard, see, I can go between dashboards. Okay, I can go between the dashboards. This will give you overall health or overall details about your Intune. Okay, next, let's come to devices. All services we'll see later. Okay, so in the devices, what do you see in the devices? You see enrollment status. When you come to overview, you see the enrollment status. What does enrollment status give? It will give you the details about Intune enrolled devices by platform and their enrollment failures. If at all any device could not enroll, if there is any failure because of it, you can get that information here. Next, you have enrollment alert. What is this enrollment alert will do? In case if any device is in AD, but the device is not in Intune, you can see that it is not able to communicate. So whatever device is in my AD is already in Intune. If at all you see a device in AD that is not in Intune, or you can say unassigned devices by platform to Intune is visible here. Next, you have compliance status. So what does this compliance status do? It will check number of policies, okay, any settings, any threats, any protection policies that are actually deployed. Okay, are our devices compliant with all the policies and the rules that is set? If it's not compliant, why it is not compliant, or how many devices are without the compliance status? Okay, all of it are visible in this particular devices overview. Next, you have configuration status. What does this configuration status do? So basically, there'll be list of policies that would be deployed. I'm going to show you how to create the policies as well in a very granular level that we do in the production. Okay, so it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so you can always come back and view this again when in your own Intune console, which I'm going to provide to you. And the next, you have software update status. If there is any patches that is deployed, any patch failures, what is the status of the patches? All of it can be seen here. This is nothing but the patch compliance that is available for your end user machine. As of now, I've still not deployed for this particular uh, project yet, or this particular course yet, but for you, we will be doing it. Okay. Any doubts as of now? Till now, you have any doubts? Okay. Now, let's come to all devices. Now, when you come to all devices, you will be seeing all the devices that is being managed by your Intune. All of your Windows devices or your Mac devices, iOS devices, whatever device that is there, you will be able to see that. Okay, here some devices will be corporate, some devices will be personal. We'll see those differences as the time comes. You can see the OS version that is there, and also when was it last connected with your Intune, and who is the person who's logged into the machine last. Okay, next, you have something called as monitor. So anything that you deploy, there are certain set of reports that you can pull or certain set of configuration. It's like a monitoring pane of your SCCM is there. No, similarly, those statuses can be visible here. Okay, next. Next, if you come down slowly, here by platform, you can see the number of devices. Here by platform, you can see the devices and what you can do for each device. Now, next, you have something called as compliance policies. Compliance policies is nothing but set of rules, okay, that we can provide while a particular device is managed by Intune. So only if the device is managed, only if device is compliant with all the rules that we set, then we call that particular device as compliance. You have your configurations profiles here. Configuration profiles are nothing but the Intune policies, okay, that we deploy. So other name of configuration profiles is nothing but it's called Intune policies, and it's a big project on its own when we do it in the production. It will take about easily 2 to 3 months to do any kind of a migration from GPO to Intune policies, which I'm going to teach you the step-by-step layers, the process, how it happens, so that you can use that in your prod. Okay. Next, you can also deploy PowerShell scripts. Okay, if there are any PowerShell scripts that you want to do some settings, you can deploy that. Then this update rings are nothing but your patch management solution. Update rings are nothing but your patch management solution. Next, you have something called as apps. So you will be able to see, okay, in the overview, Okay, how many apps, what is, or installation status of the apps, if there are any app protection policies deployed. Here it's empty. Okay, but we will go ahead and deploy it in our class as well. This is still happening. And you have the complete list of apps that we have deployed, and if there are any top installation failures by the device. So luckily there are no installation failures as of now for these particular apps that you are seeing. You can see, if you come to all apps, you can see the list of apps that we have deployed, and I will give you all of it. I'll give you a set of files and you can see that here. Okay, next you have something called as users. What does this users do? Okay, all the users in your Intune environment are visible here, and you can see, if you check them, you can see what are their location, what is their principal ID. Okay, what is the user type, what roles are assigned to them, all of it can be observed. You can see the list of assigned roles for them. Okay, so this is just like your, you have this role based administrative access, right? There a certain role can be assigned. The same way we can assign the roles here as well. And you can even reset their passwords. You can select and you can even reset their passwords within Intune. But as an Intune admin, you will not do it. You will ask the help desk team to do it. Next, you have groups. So what are these groups? Groups are nothing but collections in your SCCM. You have collections, no? Like the device collections, user collections. Here we have groups. Okay, here also we have device type. Here also we have query collections. Here also we have, we call it as dynamic collections here. Okay, direct membership collections are called assigned collections, or assigned groups. Okay, query membership collections are called dynamic groups. You will be learning how to create those groups. And here you have something called as reports. So what are these reports? So there are some default reports that are available, but our specialty in the classes, I'm going to show you how to integrate a Power BI and reports, and we'll try to build custom reports as well, rather than going and only using these reports, which are very limited compared to SCCM. There is a lot of limitations. So instead of that, what we will do, we will build a custom report using your Power BI. At the end, you have your tenant administration. So here in the tenant administration, it is basically talking about to which tenant you belong to, where is this tenant hosted, okay, which is the MDM authority is, which particular or which particular management tool is having highest priority to manage the endpoint. Sometimes you will see configuration manager here as well if it's a co-management environment. Okay, what is the version of it? How many devices are enrolled? How many licenses are left? Okay, total number of Intune licenses. So all of it can be seen here. Okay, so isn't the Intune console very easy to use? Is it very, it's not very complex, right? It looks very, you go click here, you can get all the information of the end user device. You go click here, you get all the information about the apps that are there. You go click in the users, you can reset the password, you can manage users. If you have a list of activity for that has to perform for a group of machines, you create a group, add those machines, and you can perform that activity. Tenant administration is your overall Intune infrastructure. You can see that here. It's very simple. But yes, you will understand the backend workflows, how it behaves on the client side and how it behaves on the server side or on your Intune console side. We will go through that very, very in deep or in detail. Okay, next. I did not go through this all services. I said, let me come to all services. So the whole point is in this all services, you have something called as M365 Azure Active Directory. If I click on this, so basically, you can go to your Azure Active Directory, and we will be touch basing on Azure Active Directory here and there. Okay, so that you will understand how Azure Active Directory will help Intune to perform its activities. And yes, without Intune is highly dependent on your Azure Active Directory to onboard the devices. So what is Intune is highly dependent on your Azure Active Directory to onboard the devices. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to give you access to your tenant. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give access to your lab, and we're going to have a little bit discussion about how your lab is going to be, what is required of you for that particular lab. So give me a minute. Let me open up your tenant. So your tenant is going to be Intune course 909 on.microsoft.com. This is the tenant which I've already built for this particular lab. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys access to this particular console, and I want you to verify this particular access is working for you. First thing, let me go to users, new user, create new user. What I'm going to do, I'm going to users, I'm going to go to users, new user, create a new user. So here I'm going to create, so let me put Ashok. Okay, for Ashok I'm creating is Intune ID. Let me give Ashok. I want to auto generate the password. Okay, usage location is going to be India. Job title is Intune Administrator. Department is End User Computing. Company name is Lara Online Training. Manager is Lara Trainer is the manager. Now what will happen is Ashok ID will get created. So now if I come and refresh here, see, display name is Ashok, user principal name is Ashok at the rate intunecore09.onmicrosoft.com, user type is member, identity is intunecore09.onmicrosoft.com, company name is LaraOnlineTraining. Now what I will do, so let me give you this particular link. Okay, endpoint.microsoft.com, copy it, paste it. Yeah, please log in using laptop. Okay,
Sure, sure.
because it's a practical class. Everything that we do is going to be practical. Okay,
Okay.
yes,
Sure.
yes. So next, let me come create a new user. Okay, so that we'll be ready when once you guys log in using your laptops. I will show you how to do it, how to set up your IDs as well. Okay, the class is practical, so wholly because what will happen? No, the whole point of this class is you will not be able to get all the opportunity in the production. So in the class, once you do all this, when it comes in production, it will be easy. You will have confidence. Instead of me only showing you, without you doing it, you'll not feel confident. So I'll make you guys do some tasks, okay, for most of the activities. So that's the reason. Try to use your laptop, and also I'll be sending you lab files. Now, what are the lab files? Okay, before I let me create my URI ID, then we'll go talk about the lab files. Usage location, again India. Intune administrator. Department is end user computing. Company name is Lara Online Training. Manager is again the Lara trainer. Create. Okay. Now, what I have done is I have actually created your user IDs. Okay. Here are the steps. Okay. How to create the user ID in Intune, and then how to assign license. How to assign license. Okay, so what will happen is, here are the steps. Okay, first create the user ID, then assign license, then assign Intune administrator role, okay, to each user ID. So we are going to do all these three steps for you guys. Okay, so I've already created the user ID. I'm going to assign licenses, assignment. It's going to be enterprise mobility security E5. You have permission to all these things. Save. We're going to have so one full class only on licenses. Then I'll go to my Azure Active Directory and go to my Azure Active Directory here. Users, new user, sorry, Ashok, assign roles, add assignment, Intune administrator. Click add. So now Ashok is a full Intune administrator. He can manage all the aspects of Intune. Next, let's go to Mayuri and do the same thing. Users, Mayuri. First assign the license. Save. Next, go to users, Mayuri, license. Sorry, assign roles, assignment, Intune administrator. So both Ashok and Mayuri now are Intune administrators with proper licenses assigned to you guys. If you see here, successfully added the assignment for both of you. And if you see here, successfully license has been assigned to both of you. Anything that you do, the status will be coming. You have to come to this bell icon. In this bell icon, you can actually see the statuses. Now you guys have your own lab. So one thing that you will have to remember, guys, I will be sharing uh, a Google Drive access with you. What I will do, I'll be sharing one Google Drive access. In that Google Drive access, you will have all the apps that is needed for you to work on. In that Google Drive access, you will have all the Intune Intune binaries that you need. Give me a minute. Let me show that to you. Huh. So this is the drive, okay, where you will be given. This is the drive that we use. Okay, you have all the MSIs that you need, and even I have also kept the Windows 10 ISO. You can use this Windows 10 ISO to build. Okay, now what I will do is I'm going to give this to you guys in the chat. Okay, now I want you to, if you already have a VMware workstation, you can use this Windows 10. If you don't have a VMware workstation, then you can also go for a freeware called VMware Player. Okay, you can go to VMware Player. Okay, you can download the VMware Player here. You can download the VMware Player. You can install this. On this, you have to build a Windows 10 image. Build a Windows 10 machine. So before you come to the next class, build a Windows 10 machine in your personal laptops and do let me know. Any difficulty you have, please do let me know. If you don't know how to build it also, I can help you with that. Got it? All of you?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Next. So what all we have done as of now, let me go on top. Yes. So I have provided the lab files. I have created your accounts. You have spoken about what is Intune. You have spoken about
Oh,
the introduction to Intune. Okay.
okay.
So any doubts on how this class is going to be and what you are going to learn from this class? Any doubts?
No,
I just want to
no.
ask you about the
Hmm.
co-management. Means,
We will talk
is there
about.
any topic? Sorry?
So we will be having a co-management. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. So there will be a complete session of how when you do a co-management, how Intune will behave. How the device will behave on the Intune console on co-management, it is one full class. Okay, I will explain that to you. Okay,
okay. And
yes,
how
yes,
many we can create the dashboards in the Intune?
n number, you can create
Okay.
any number of Intune
And,
dashboards you can create.
and
Okay,
which OS version will be compatible for the Intune?
anything after 1703 is better, but I would say download
Okay,
the latest one.
okay.
Okay, download the latest one. That's the best one. Okay,
Okay, okay.
yes. Yes. Any doubts on as of now? Anything else you have questions on? I'll talk about it. So I'll also tell you we will be what we'll be doing in the next class. Okay. In the coming class, we will be learning about what is the difference between Intune and SCCM, and then we'll be talking about Intune licenses. So next class agenda is Intune vs SCCM. Second is Intune licenses available. Okay, so we'll be talking each, because any project you go, you should know this 100% mandatorily. You should know this. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how this works. Okay, so that you can start when you go into your project, you'll exactly know what are the limitations that you'll have while working in that particular project. Okay, so this is going to be your next class on Monday. Understood?
Okay.
All of
Yes,
you?
Keshav. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, bye bye.